it is Rachel from 7 and All, and today I am going to be sharing our new and updated homeschool schedule for this new school year that we've begun. And I realized it was about overdue that I share a new schedule with you as we've kind of transitioned into the next grade level, transitioned into using new curriculums. And I should just let you know, our schedule never dramatically changes year over year. We tend to keep the same rhythms because that's really helpful to just kind of roll with what's been working for the most part. But changes in life seasons do necessitate adjusting and changing the schedule over time. So I'm going to turn the camera and look inside my planner where I've written down my schedule, and I'll talk you through it. All right, let's get started. All right, I've got my schedule written out in my planner here, so I'm going to talk you through my day, my typical day, and how I get things done. This is my schedule for 4 days a week. We have 1 day a week that I do not do tutoring, so that is our kind of more free at home day, the day that I get larger house chores like mopping the house done. So that's just to let you know this is a 4 day a week schedule, and we also do school on the 5th day, but we don't have to leave the house for the most part. Okay, so roughly, I don't set any alarms. I roughly wake up around 5:30, and typically in the 5:30 to 7:30 time, that's a quiet portion of the day when I'm getting ready for the day. Since I've been pregnant, I've been eating something pretty much instantly when I wake up to help with nausea. And I'll try to get some computer work in on YouTube or on working on resources for my Where'd You Learn That homeschool printables. And I'll also just put up, get out the books that I'm going to read for morning time during this time period. By 7:30, for sure my boys will be awake and ready for their breakfast. For sure by 7:30. There are days when they are awake by 6:15. So it does vary for them at this point in time. And pretty much whenever they wake up, that's when I'll start breakfast because they wake up hungry. But I'll make them a simple breakfast, oatmeal or eggs, something very simple. And while they eat breakfast, we always do our morning time. Morning time right now includes Gentle and Classical Preschool. So that's where our memory statement cards and our stories are coming from. I also am adding a little bit more stories and reading. And we're singing some songs. Then after that, they usually have some playtime, and I'll do some morning housework, which is just cleaning up from breakfast, typically starting a load of laundry every morning so that it will have time to dry during the heat of the day because we line dry our laundry. Then by roughly around 8:45, I like to get started on sitting down to do morning schoolwork. So they've had some time to play by then. I'll call usually my oldest first, and we'll do the bulk of his sit-down schoolwork, which right now is first grade math with confidence. We're doing all about reading. For phonics, I wrote llamitas here, but really that just means Spanish, which might be llamitas. We're getting close to the end of level 2. We're getting close to the end of level 1. Then I think we're gonna break and just really work on phonics and reading for a while before we start level 2 of llamitas. He'll do his handwriting, a little short Chinese lesson. And then once he's done, I'll release him to play and grab my little guy to do his preschool binder and a little math activity from Preschool Math at Home, whatever he's working on at that time. So that's our morning school session. That's the bulk of our sit down and do your work. And 2 hours later, so there's usually this doesn't take 2 hours. So again, there's usually a gap where I can hang up laundry or work on something around the house. Maybe start some chicken marinating for dinner, whatever it is. Then by 10:45, we'll have our morning snack time because children need to eat frequently, especially homeschooled children. They work up quite the appetite. During snack time, we are having more reading. So we'll do our Around the World lesson, which will typically include a book, notebooking, if there's any notebooking that day, maybe a video related to what we're learning about. If we're learning about the Bengal tiger, we'll watch a little video that shows some Bengal tigers doing their thing. And then we'll also do Sunlight Science, which is a short reading and some worksheets or maybe an experiment. I save this kind of reading for snack time, and I don't do it during morning time because this reading is typically feeding into doing a notebook or working in a workbook or doing an experiment, which isn't usually something I'm ready for or wanting to do first thing in the morning. It tends to just work a little bit better to do these readings at a time. You know, they're just having a quick snack and they can move from the reading into whatever notebooking or activity, science, video we're doing, because it's a little more interactive. This is just more memory statements and stories and singing. It doesn't require getting out pencils or crayons or anything like that, or any supplies like a science experiment. So that's why I do this reading and these lessons later in the morning at snack time. Then typically by 11:30, you know, all of these times are pretty estimated, especially in the morning. But we are leaving at the same time, 11:30 for the Learning Center, 4 days a week. And I do some tutoring with individual students who come there for extra educational support. So I'm not necessarily involved with my kids during this whole time. They come, they're part of our little community there. When they were littler, they mostly just kind of wandered around, played with toys, and entertained themselves. My little guy is still really good at that, but my older son tends to need a little bit more purpose and structure. So we've started actually having him, my whole family volunteers here. We've actually started having my older son sit down and do some learning with teacher grandma, with his grandma, while I'm working at the Learning Center, while I'm doing a focus lesson with another older student. So this is when he will typically do his Matthew-C and his, and she'll also just have him read some early phonics readers. We have lots of collections of early phonics readers there. So a little bit of math and some phonics for him. And she might also work with my younger son, and that's just more cutting and pasting or practicing flashcard games, things like that. Simple 3-year-old things, just when they, to give them a little bit more structure during this time, because as they're older, they're needing a little bit more structure than they used to. We also have lunch at the Learning Center, and sometimes if they need an idea, I will set them up with, you know, paint and paper at a table so I can work with some other kids, or they'll do some kind of craft with their aunt who's also there. So this is kind of it depends on the day what's going on, but by 3 p.m. we return home, and then it's typically fairly free time, quiet time. We've used up a lot of energy throughout this portion of the day, so I'll work on dinner, I'll do maybe small house chores, but maybe I'll also have time to sit down and read a book for a while if they're playing nicely and having some quiet time. Neither one of them nap anymore, so we don't have naps anymore, but we do try to have a peaceful time around here. I put 5 o'clock for dinner, but it really varies based on when my husband's coming home that day, which could be any time between 4:30 to 6:30. So depends on the day. But we have dinner together and then clean up dinner together, 6 p.m. Not every day, but probably at least 3 evenings a week. My husband will typically take them out to play in the evening. We don't, like, they'll play in our yard during the morning time, but for most of the day it's very, very hot. So evenings tends to be a very good time to go and spend time outdoors. So he'll take them to the park or take them to the beach, and sometimes I would join those, sometimes I would stay home and work. Recently, because I've been pregnant, I've been staying home and sleeping during the evening outing time, taking a nap for myself. And then roughly 7:30 we start getting ready for bed so that we have enough time for showers and teeth brushing and songs and bedtime stories and all the fun stuff, you know. So that is what a typical day looks like 4 days a week. That's how we get things done for school and for the rest of life during the week. All right, if you have any questions, you can leave them down in the comments below or share something that works well for your daily schedule. And I'll be seeing you next time. Bye.